Ha! Araka says, I told you she doesn't know when to hold back. She used up all her energy to make that tornado, and now she's so tired she can barely even stand up anymore. That's what's happening. That's hilarious. But are you serious? Darren says while he's still holding Melindra to make sure she won't faint again. Should we take a break or something? I said I'm fine. Melinda says that she pulls herself away from Darren. Let's keep going. We all exchange a few looks, but we don't say anything else. We follow her in silence for the next few minutes. At the beginning, it was pretty obvious for everyone that Melinda was making an effort to even walk straight, but her situation gradually improved as we advanced through the forest, probably as a result of her magical energy getting slowly restored as she walked. So, I say to Melindra, as you travel through the area filled with craters and fallen trees caused by the earlier tornado, you still remember our discussion from yesterday. You were just about to tell us how still waters are created, but then we got sidetracked. We never really got back to our initial conversation afterwards. Shall we continue where we left off? That is a lie, and you know it, Melindra says. I never said I would tell you anything about how you can become a still water. Okay, you never said you would, but you will tell us, right? I say no. Melindra says, why not? I say, Stillwater trivia. Because Aiden decided after the still winter that we should keep what happened to us a secret. Melindra says, he was worried if people found out how we became Stillwater, certain individuals might try to exploit that knowledge for their own benefit. Wait, Hodrick says, are you saying that all the still waters got created during the still winter? Sort of, Melindra says. At any rate, I think it would be very unlikely for you to meet any still waters that are younger than 600 years old. Does that mean that all still waters are immortals? Kate asks. No, not immortal, Melindra says. We can be killed just fine. It's just that we stopped aging as soon as we turned into still water. We also become sterile. And mostly immune to diseases, but that's besides the point. So none of the still waters can have kids, Hodrick says. Yes, that's what I just said, Melindra says. Where are all the other still waters? Darren says. Dead, most likely, Melindra says. Most of them got killed by Aiden, but there were also some of them that went wild and got hunted by various mercenaries. I think there may have been others, I don't remember, but either way, I haven't met other still waters aside from Aiden in ages. I heard he's been traveling around the world for a while, so I'm guessing that most legends you know about still waters are actually about him. Did you just say that Aiden killed most of the other still waters? Darren says. Why did he do that, and when? Well, Melindra says, to be quite honest, I think I may have already said too much on the subject. If you want to know more, you'll have to ask Aiden directly. Could you at least tell us how you met Aiden, and what is your affiliation with him? Kate asks. Related by any chance? Oh no, we're not related. Melindra says. Ex-lovers then? Roderick says, not really. Melindra says, then why did Araka say that you were trailing behind him and the fox during the still winter? Kate says. Well, Melindra says, we sort of became friends when he was being imprisoned. Actually, we were more like trading partners than friends, but I guess we also became friends afterwards. Why was he imprisoned? Who imprisoned him? Okay, that's information. Well, was this because the still winter? What was he being imprisoned for? How did he manage to get imprisoned when he had all those powers? Yeah, that's what I'm interested in. He wasn't a still water back then, Melindra says, but he was still a mage, right? Hodrick says. How were they keeping his powers in check? Were they using an anti-magic or paralysis spell? No, it was a regular spell. Melindra says, was Aiden wearing some sort of collar while he was in his cell? Kate says, Melindra says, I'm pretty sure that he wasn't wearing any sort of collar back then. And how did they manage to trap him? Kate says. And who was it that captured him? Melindra says, I don't think I should be talking about this. Why not? Kate said, didn't ask you not to talk about this. So something of the sort. Yes, Melindra says. What about the trading partner thing you mentioned earlier? Hodrick says, can you talk about that? I suppose. Melindra says. See, when I was tasked with cleaning the prison corridors, I would often notice this large pile of rocks in one corner of Aiden's cell, and each of these rocks were so marvelously unique in their shape, sizes and composition, I could barely take my eyes off them. I wasn't sure how I could convince Aiden to give them to me. Once I saw those rocks, I knew that I needed to have them, so I kept coming back to Aiden's cell and kept starting conversation with him every day in the hopes that I found out something that he needed from outside his cell, so that I could trade it to him in exchange for some of his rocks. You wanted to make a trade with him for some rocks? Darren asked. Couldn't you have asked him for them? Well, obviously I could have just asked him for them, Melindra says, but who would be stupid enough to give them for free? But Darren starts to say, but he's interrupted, interrupts himself mid-sentence. You know what? You're right. My mistake. Please continue. But who would be stupid enough to give them away for free? That is just, I don't even know what. Okay, whatever. Thank you, Melinda says. So anyway, after several conversations with Aiden, I found out that the food they were serving him was of extremely poor quality. Since I was also in charge of serving dishes and I had access to the kitchen, I offered to sneak some better food into his cell every once in a while in exchange for certain rocks from his pile in this corner. At first he thought that I wasn't being serious and accepted the trade somewhat in jest, but when he actually saw me bring him the food by holding out my hand, waited for my hand to earn what? Holding out my hand, waited for my hard-earned prize, he looked rather shocked. I had to point several times towards the rock that I wanted before he actually gave it to me. He also seemed to be amused every time I referred to our bargains as even trade. I'm not sure exactly why, he never told me the reason. Is she retarded or something? Okay. As Belinda talks, I certainly remember my first conversation with Aiden when I also offered him my own version of an even trade. After hearing this story, I think I'm starting to understand a bit better why he burst out laughing like that when I made a proposition to him. You collect rocks, Flower says all of a sudden. You still have them with you? Why, of course, Winter says. I always carry them with me. My collection has gotten a lot larger in the past 600 years. I still have those original rocks that I started my collection with here in my backpack. You want to see them? Yes, Flower says, excited, love to. Isn't she 30 years old? I suppose her brain is not, so whatever. Well, okay, but just so you know, I won't be slowing down my pace, Melinda says. If you want to see them, you'll have to join my side. I'll show them to you as we walk, of course, Flower says as she rushes by Melinda's side. The Stillwater girl then takes off her backpack. She begins to take out her rocks one by one, handing them over to Flower so she can get a good look at them, and then putting them back inside when she is done. As I was suspecting, none of the rocks seemed to have any real marketable value. They would look worthless to anyone else, but that doesn't seem to stop Flower from marveling at every one of the rocks, while Melinda proudly explains to her the features that made her consider the stones to be worthy of her collection, making sure to also give her a brief summary of where she found each of them. While Melinda and Flower are having their discussion, Darren gives the rest of us a signal. You all slow down a bit to have a talk outside of Melinda's hearing range while still following her. So, what do you all think about Melinda so far? Darren whispers while making sure that Melinda isn't paying attention to us. You think that she might be working with Aiden? I highly doubt it. I think she's a bit stuck up, but I doubt she's a traitor. She seems alright to me. You mean like an informant is certainly possible. I think I'm gonna go with this a bit more like this normal option of nah, she's alright to me. I'm not gonna call her a traitor. Like it's not like she's like in our team. Nah, she seems alright to me. Well, Hardwick says, I'm not sure how alright in the head someone can be if they carry hundreds of useless rocks with them at all time for no good reason. But at the very least, I don't think she's an informant. We already know that she was friends with Aiden when we took her deal. There's no need to doubt her every step of the way. You're looking at this the wrong way, Kate says. Doesn't matter if she's trustworthy or not. As long as we don't discuss any crucial information while she's around, we'll be fine. It does matter, damn it, Darren says. If we're all just going to lag behind like this every time we need to discuss something important, we'll look suspicious as hell. So what, Kate says. Why would we care if she thinks we're suspicious? Because she's a member of the team, Darren says. Is she? Kate says, raising an eyebrow. Listen, Darren says, my question was whether we should trust her or not. If you're not going to say we should keep everything hidden from her, then it's the same as saying that... what? My question was whether we should trust her or not. If you're just going to say we should keep everything hidden from her, then it's the same as saying that, you know, Melinda says as she sees us all huddled up together, far behind her and Flower. If you're going to talk about me behind my back, you could at least try to do it in a less obvious way. What? Dylan says in a painfully obvious fake tone. No, you got it all wrong. We weren't talking about you. We were talking about a Flower. You were? Flower says, looking worried. Hey, nice save, Darren. I says he pat him hard on the back. I don't see how anyone would still think that we are being suspicious after a well thought out explanation like that. Shut up, Darren mumbles, but he doesn't say anything else. Listen, Melinda says, if you all want to have your own private conversation about strategies and whatnot, it's fine, but could you at least wait until we make camp or take a break? It's annoying to have to keep a lookout for you so you don't get lost, while I'm also trying to monitor them monsters that are trying to ambush us. Is there a monster trying to ambush us, I say, while I quickly take off my backpack and pull out my crossbow. Damn it, Araka, he had one job. My job was to tell you about the invisible enemies, jackass, Arka says. None of these enemies are invisible. What kind of morons are you that you can't even tell when monsters are laying an ambush for you anyway?